This presentation will be a Pachachka from my PIDP 3240 course at Vancouver Community College. I will try to answer the question, what is Creative Commons? To understand what Creative Commons is, first we need to know what copyright laws are for. Copyright laws are enacted by governments to protect the work of creators of material from the unauthorized reproduction or use of their materials. In other words, copyright laws give the creators exclusive rights to their work, or all rights reserved. Copyright laws came into being right after the invention of Gutenberg's printing press. Since copyright laws protect creative media works, as the technology changes, the copyright laws have to change to deal with the changing types of media. It is the evolution of technology that keeps changing the requirements of the laws. A term that has arisen from the recent technological advances is intellectual property. Under intellectual property law, owners are granted certain exclusive rights to a variety of intangible assets, such as musical, literary, and artistic works, discoveries and inventions, and words, phrases, symbols, and designs. At the opposite end of the copyright law spectrum is what is considered public domain. The public domain consists of works that are no longer in copyright term or never were protected by copyright. Another way of looking at it is, works in the public domain are public property, whereas works covered by copyright laws are considered private property, or no rights reserved. Somewhere in the middle of these two is what is known as the Creative Commons. Creative Commons is a non-profit organization based on the premise that owners of intellectual property who want to share their work still retain some rights to the material. With Creative Commons licenses, they can share the material under their own terms, or some rights reserved. These Creative Commons licenses allows creators to convey which rights they want to retain and which rights they waive in relation to their specific piece of work. Creative Commons provides a standardized format for creators of work to grant copyright permissions to use their materials within the boundaries of copyright laws. Now let's look at these types of licenses available. There are 6 main public copyright licenses, with a 7th that waives all rights and allows licensors to put their work in the public domain. Let's go back to the beginning and start an in-depth look at the available types of licenses. The first license we'll look at is the attribution license. This license lets people distribute and adapt a licensor's work as long as they credit them with the original creation. This is the most accommodating license available. The next license we'll look at is the attribution share-alike license. This license allows users to edit and remix the works, even for commercial use, as long as it is attributed to the original creator and the new creations are licensed under the identical terms. This is the license used by Wikipedia. The next license is attribution no derivative. This license allows you to copy and transmit the work, even for commercial purposes. This license requires you to give credit to the original author. The no derivative clause prohibits you from altering the works in any way, shape, or form. The next license in the Creative Commons is Attribution Non-Commercial. This license allows you to copy, distribute, and adapt the work as long as you attribute the work to the originating author and don't use it for commercial purposes. Next, we'll look at the Attribution Non-Commercial Share-alike license. With this license, you can share and remix the work. You must credit the original author, not use it for commercial purposes, and if you change the content, you must distribute the work under the same license as the original author did. The 6th license available under the Creative Commons is the Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. This is the most restrictive of all licenses. This license allows you to share the work as long as you attribute the original author, don't change the content, or use it for commercial purposes. The last license available on the Creative Commons is actually not a license at all. This tool allows creators to waive any rights they have to their works and place them in the public domain. This allows creators to opt out of the copyright protection and rights automatically granted to them as creators of works. This gives the authors no rights reserved. The Creative Commons uses 3 layers of licenses: the legal code, the human-readable code, and the machine-readable code. This allows easy access and understanding of the licenses. The legal code is aimed at lawyers. The human-readable is aimed at the majority of people who will be using the licenses, and the machine-readable layer, which allows computers and search engines to be able to understand the licensing being used. One of the important aspects of the Creative Commons is that they use common deeds. These are also known as the human-readable versions of the licenses. These deeds are a handy reference for users to be able to summarize the key terms and conditions of the license. Another important function of the Creative Commons is the machine-readable part of the licensing. By using metadata, a language that computers use, searching for Creative Commons content is made fast and extremely efficient. The inception of the Creative Commons has given authors of work that they want to share a simple, effective, and highly efficient way to allow their work to be utilized by a large portion of the internet community, yet be able to do it on their own terms. While copyright laws are here to stay, I believe the Creative Commons has filled a very important void between the private works and public domain spectrum. There is now a middle ground where sharing is permitted, but not without some type of regulations to protect an author's rights to have his work distributed as he sees fit.